Hello everyone, Supreme Kami over here, and in this video I am going to be presenting to you guys a free-to-play version of a shot-based cooldown reduction build over here. This has been a topic that a lot of people has been asking, because I believe back in September I dropped a video talking about how to build a 100% cooldown reduction build for melee type, and that video got a lot of views on it. I think a lot of people did expect me to kind of come up with like a shot build base over here, so this is what we have over here. So obviously, in terms of shot variant, I will have to say what kind of part I'm using is extremely limited, just because of the fact that the part that I'm using for this cooldown reduction build is more or less the same thing for my melee, just because it's only limited to what we have currently. I'm definitely gonna go over what my build is currently, and then we'll talk about some other options that you can kind of see if you guys have it, and we will talk about some SoCal version. Do keep that in mind. This is a completely standard plus event part. You won't find any, let's say, Sokai or even Gundam Fest parts over here. I will also show you guys my current, like the one I'm using, a little bit mixture of like obviously a lot of Sokai parts that is put into it. So this is gonna be a build I'll talk about towards the end. We'll first start things off with the, I will have to state the 5 criteria. What kind of 5 parts you would need in order to make this 100% cooldown reduction build. So for those who knows, right, you will need you will need more or less around 5 parts that has, part trait that gives you this over here. So EXQ CD reduced by X amount percent. So at max out level 10, it will give you 20%. So if you have 5 maxed out these kind of part trait, you have equivalent to 100% cooldown reduction over here. So that's why a lot of people say they have to counter that in, let's say, the most controversial League 3 and 3 arena. But do keep that in mind. I don't know specifically if the game wants us to fight against enemy that has 100% cooldown reduction, because when I fought against myself, there was a unit that I have in there does not. There is 0 cooldown reduction trait, but for whatever reason I keep spamming EXQ. So it's not the player's fault for doing it. You can kind of say maybe it's a bug, or maybe it's on the developer side that they want that to be implemented. So but this is going to be very educational, because a lot of people do want to know how to do that. So this part is going to be the one I'm using. This is a warfare part that got alteration, I want to say, roughly about a few months ago. So if you guys did watch my video talking about what is a good warfare alteration parts to get, this was one of the part that I have recommended. So hopefully many of you guys that are watching right now do have this part in hand. This part currently does have a permanent alteration, but the problem is getting this part, because currently it's not accessible. But definitely this is one of the part that I'm using. So commander, when you are using commander, EXQ cooldown or EXQ 20% right there. The next part that I would be talking about is going to be the leg portion. So there's a lot of places that actually does not have this kind of trait. The head is definitely something we don't have too many of the option. The arm, we only have one variant, but that one is more or less on a Sokai tier part, so I'm not gonna be recommending that to you guys. The leg does have a very decent amount. Even the free unit, the Arius, actually has this, so that is definitely a good option as well. In terms of my personal preference right now, we're going to be looking at the GOP custom over here. Also another welfare alteration. So if you guys did watch my video like way back, this is definitely a part you guys can be using. And do keep that in mind, P attribute is currently the only, like, I'll have to say, currently the most accessible one to be working on a cooldown reduction build. In terms of tech attribute and then speed attribute, they're not too accessible. You would more or less require parts that is going to be on that Sokai tier, and as well as a Gundam Fest part. So that's why I'm not going to make that type. In terms of this one, when you are using P attribute, same thing over here. The backpack is going to be only that one. I believe this is more or less the only one we have, if I recall. This is going to be the crossbone, if I can click on it. This is going to be the crossbone Gundam X1 Kai over here. So this was just an innate, to 20% when you have P attribute. So pretty simple right there. So this one does not have the alteration in it, and keep that in mind. The word tag on this one, I would have to say, works extremely good on a melee build, but for a shot base over here, oh man. I had to do a lot of like research and like what kind of part I can use to kind of fulfill this kind of word tag set over here, ace exclusive, commander, and mid range over here. So yeah, so that is going to be our third part right there. In terms of the next part over here, we have the GN hand missile here. So this is going to be the Austria F type over here. So this one right here is going to be a standard part. So a standard part will probably take a lot more resources in order to get up to level 10. But I will have to say this one is probably a little bit more accessible compared to Sokai parts. So that's why this one will be on the list as well. You know, when power attribute 20% right there. The X1, the Crosswind X1 Kaikai is also going to be a standard part as well. So I believe we had Gunpla fragment where we were able to pick that up. So that was also one of my recommendations for you guys to pick up as well, like way back probably. The last one at least, we have the pilot slot over here. So pilot slot, it is a little bit flexible. You can use either standards. So standard will give you equivalent up to 20%. So that will give you the final 20% push to that 100% cooldown. This one I'm using specifically why I use this one originally, because this one allowed me to kind of get kind of sneak into both melee and shot no problem. Ace exclusive is going to be for my shot variant, as well as high mobility is going to be for my melee option. So that's why I picked this one. But I will have to say this one specifically is probably not the best one, because when armor is 60% or more, that is when you're going to get this proc treated. But if you do fall below that, you will have to heal up back to 60% or more in order to activate this. But yeah, this is basically what I have in order to make up this 20%. And then all the other part, the one that I have not mentioned, is going to be a swallow here. So I'm using, keep that in mind, what you are using right here does not really matter. All you want to do is just kind of like, so I think the next question you guys might ask you, what should I use for my main slot? For this one specifically, I will have to say use something that's going to give you commander because of this right here. This is probably the only hindrance I will have to say, because this wants me to use commander, so I would have to kind of force my way to it. But if you guys do have a lot of options out there, like I'm doing this specifically because I don't know what do you guys have in terms of your Sokai parts collection. So that's why I feel like doing like a completely standard part will be a little bit more at ease for me, because like I can kind of guarantee you guys might have these parts. So I'm just gonna go down the list and not really talk too much. Like you guys may have your own option, but this is what I'm gonna be using for this video specifically. In terms of head as well, it's going to be using the leg of the set over here. So this one does give me a little bit of a good portrait if possible. Just some projectile speed increases, and as well as some EXQ power boosting when I'm using beam weaponries over here. So Ace Exclusive and Midrange are going to be my two other vortex choices right there. Having a subset of a Gundam or a 72 big scale, that is going to offer a little bit more shot attack than I would hope for right here. So that's actually good. Torso wise over here, I went for the tech attribute big scale pal right over here because it's going to be big scale, so I will be able to benefit a little bit of a subslot right there. So Ace Commander as well as the mid range is going to be for my war tag right there. In terms of the arm, I'm going to be using the big scale RA72 over here. So in terms of the arm right here, this one doesn't really matter for me personally. Like I just needed something that will give me commander, and it's going to be a free to play option or standard. Like I don't think there's actually that much on the roster, so that's why I picked this one over other things. You know what, can I even use this one? It's not that much better if I even do this. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. This is just something I just want to put in there real quick. You can definitely use, no, this one's not gonna work, I guess. Yeah, this is just literally something I just needed for the slot, because I will be using the main portrait for the RX-72 Gundam anyway. So this one doesn't really proc in too much in terms of going for your shot. This one is purely boosting for melee, so it's not going to really benefit me at all. This one will probably, you know, if I'm going to get melee hit, I will be able to reduce that by 30%, so that's actually good. It's not bad. In terms of the leg right here, we also did went for the big scale RX-72 because that is going to offer me Ace of Susub, so that's going to work out my favorite as well. So backpack wise, we are gonna go for this one over here. Is it Boga? Yes, that's how you pronounce it. Yeah. So this one is also gonna be from the F91 series over here. So this one doesn't really matter that much because I needed this one right here specifically did work out in my favorite in terms of getting this specific word tag right here. So why not, right? Why not use that right there? So that's why. This is a subslot wise over here. Look at that. Purely for melee, so that's why can't really finesse too much around with the word tag. And yeah, In terms of this right here, alright, this is where we're gonna see a little bit of a confusion for you guys over here. I needed something that's a P attribute, power attribute, so I went for the beam saber or the wing Gundam. This is not the one you want to be using because cooldown time up by 10%. So this one, instead of me having 100%, this will knock me back to 90%. I just have this right here for the placement purposes over here. I'll probably not be using it in the video, which I probably could, you know. But this is definitely something I do not recommend you guys to be using for your cooldown reduction or your initial charge right there. I prefer you guys using something else, but for the purpose of this video, because I needed something that's P attribute and a free to play or a standard option, that's why I went for that one instead. So you guys will definitely have better options from what I'm using for this roster here. But I'm gonna be using the plasma knife from, what is this over here? This is going to be this guy over here. So this is also going to be from a free-to-play warfare option. So it's not bad, commander and mid-range, so a good option right there as well. Moving on to here. So this, in terms of this one over here, we are going to be locked down to using a bazooka type weaponry. So that's why I went for the RA72. This one is going to work. This have mid-range for me, so that's why it works out in my favor. In terms of the shot attack, I did not alterate or did not put this with 6-star, so that's why shot attack is not going to be that pretty, but it doesn't really matter. On a cooldown reduction build, it does not really matter that much. Just me personally. In terms of the shield wise over here, I went for double RA72, big scale and small scale. Just have ace exclusive and mid range, so that is going to work out in my favor as well. I went for the option of having, what is it? This one over here, buff effects time up by what? 19%, so that is going to work out pretty good, I guess. At the end of the day, it's not bad. In terms of the pilot wise over here, I did went for Chima over here because that is going to give me a commander, so it's not bad. She does actually have some pretty good stat up her stuff, so it's not bad at the end of the day. So this is pretty much my roster, just going over what I have. You guys can definitely use some better option, because I don't know what you guys have in your roster, so that's why I'm using a free-to-play option, if you will, a standard plus a free-to-play event part. So this is literally what I have in my build over here. So I'll definitely run through some event. I'll actually take this on to League Arena. I just want to see how it performs, and you guys, this will give you guys a bit of reassurance of like how it can work. Do keep that in mind. This is not this will not give you a good amount of like damage output, because we don't really have that many EX skill power boosting at all. I don't even think we have any. If you count this one and this one, yeah. But yeah, other than that, we are purely basing on what kind of stat we're looking at. So do expect we're not gonna see any damage, right? So this is literally going to be my build right here. So let's actually go over some options that we can be looking at in terms of pilot wise over here. Some other option you can definitely go for in terms of, we'll just do this over here, cooldown. Some other option we can go for, I believe, is let me see. This one right here. Is this Sorban? That's how you pronounce it? I'm pretty sure that's not how you pronounce it, but this one's got a P attribute, 15% right there. This one here, 7 over here. This one is also good as well for a S attribute. I don't have this one at max out, unfortunately, but this one does grant up to a 15%. This one is not. What else do we have? Let me see. Just gonna go down the list real slowly right here. All the other ones are pretty much the initial EXQ charge thing right there, so we don't really have too many options, right? I would have to say, like, most of the option is actually from warfare pilots, but those don't really come back that often, so I can't really recommend that. This one is not going to be the one I'm going to recommend as well, because this is locked down to multi-mission as well, so no. Gym is also a good option as well. Just give you up to 20% when melee is at least what 16,000 right there. Other than that, George is also a good option, I believe, for tech attribute right there. So yeah, we do have fairly good amount of option actually. Not bad. Yeah. This one as well, actually, corner. Alejandro corner right there. That's actually, it's a warfare pilot, so this will round up to 15% at the end of the day. Some other good option in terms of the weaponry, that is only going to be our current option right there, so can't really recommend anything else. And then for the leg option, we don't actually have that many options, if I recall. The only one that is actually going to be good, we do have these, right? Helios, 50%. We have, what else is next? We have, where is can I actually, Aureus. Aureus is going to be a free-to-play option as well, and does have the opportunity to get up to 20%. And then all the other ones are pretty much self-explanatory there, so you guys can definitely take a look, right here. So this is the one I'm using for my own personal build. So this one's going to give me 20%. This better stat on general, and this also going to grant me a EXQ power reduce. So that's not going to be too bad, right? In terms of the arm, we don't really have that many options, I believe. The only one we have is definitely going to be this one over here, the Night Unicorn. So this one does have the opportunity to get up to 20% as well. So, but keep that in mind, this is going to be a Soul Kai tier part, a Gundam Fest part. So that's why I'm not really recommending that. In terms of other than that, I think that's pretty much it, right? All the other one are going to be what I used to use. I used to use this one, Saber Gun over here. This one does have a 50% when armor is 60% or more. Or the Slash Saku Phantom is also a good option. And the Stargazer is going to be good if you are going to be able to clear out any event within the first 60 seconds or the first minute. Other than that, it's pretty much a done zone because it's only for the first 20 seconds. Other than that, we do have plenty of good options like the Zon right there. That's up to 20%. So the list does go on and on, but this is just purely going to be a few option that I'm gonna give you guys real quick. All right, in terms of some permanent alteration that we can be looking at over here, we can just kind of filter this list over here. So I'm not gonna go to every individual one over here, but these are definitely some options you guys can take your time to look at that. Do keep that in mind. When they say cooldown, it includes the initial cooldown, so you do have to look at each individual part over here. So I'm not gonna collect to every one of these over here, but just want to give you guys a quick rough estimation. We do have tons of like lists over here specifically that will give you those cooldown parts over here, so you guys can definitely take your time and just kind of look through it right here. So yeah, that is going to be pretty much it on this roster here. So in terms of the limited side, we do have plenty as well. So but I will have to say I will try, like if I were you guys, I would try to stay away from, let's say, these limited parts over here, Soul Kai and Gundam Fest parts, because they are going to take a lot more amount of resources to get up to that 20%, and it's not going to be that much worth it at the end of the day, because like you're getting the same amount of like cooldown reduction rate from a warfare part or even center part. But it's just with these guys parts and Gundam Fest part, they do tend to give you a better secondary portrait or primary word tag for example, or trace. So you might want that instead, but the power is definitely in your hands. There's definitely good options, but it's just a matter of fact of can you get up to, let's say, that 20%, right? So that's why standard and warfare part is definitely going to be the best play over here. So I'm just gonna quickly go over my build, and then we're gonna hop into some few missions. I guess first I'll take on, let's say, the limited time multi mission that we currently have, and then I'll hop into a League 3-3 arena, and that will give you us a rough estimation of how good that free to play option is gonna be. So in terms of my own variation over here, so this is what I'm using over here, so you guys can definitely see that all my list right here is currently full. Like all this is pretty good, right? Definitely like slots right here, I'm still using this right the Crossbone X1 Kai Kai, because I believe it's the only option we have right now. I did not really look into it at this current stage, but this one is definitely the only one we have. And then in terms of pilots, we don't have any let's say build projects that might have these over here, so that's why these are going to be all empty. But in terms of my roster over here, I have a good enough like power boosting that I can clear to any events without having to lose out any power wise over here. So this is going to be my own personal build over here, so I'm not going to go down to whole roster list of like talk about what you guys want to be looking at, but I'm just going to quickly go over this right here. Not going to talk too much about what or like why I use the part I'm using right here. You guys can definitely feel free to pause and just kind of take a look right here. Do keep that in mind, I am also using on a P attribute, because that is probably, in my opinion, the more like the easiest to assess right now. So yeah, I'm just gonna quickly go to them, and then we are gonna move on to the next segment. Just gonna be testing them out, and we'll see how it performs. So we'll be right back as I cut through some missions over here. Alright, we are at the limited time crew multi-mission over here. So in terms of EX skill that I am going to be using, I'm going to be using the Dual Assault Stroud Army EX skill. I'm also going to be using the H1 Galactic Chest EX skill, as well as the GPO-1's melee its ranged weapon, the Atomic Bazooka. Keep this in mind, I am actually going to be using this on my, let's say, I will be using this on the League Arena as well, so I'll show you guys how it actually works, like how powerful it can be. But I just want to warn you guys, this is not gonna do any damage because I don't have any good, EXQ power boosting or any shooting power boosting. So yeah, but we'll definitely see how this actually works. So now let me actually hop in and see how we can do. Alright, we are in here, so let's see. I don't have any initial charge boosting, so yeah. So that's why you're not gonna see any good damage right here. Or no, you're not gonna see like initially me using it right out of the bat. So let's see. This is how you can correctly use it. You can definitely split your bullets over here if you choose to over here. So yeah, but do keep that in mind. Your damage is gonna be not really reduced, but you are gonna be splitting out what kind of like rounds you be looking at. So that's why you do want to be careful. Let's see how this actually works. The atomic bazooka over here. So it's gonna give you a pretty good AoE attack, but I definitely prefer the H1 for Galancer chest instead. Yeah, look at that, 100%. That's the effects of it. I did actually take out the big scale wing Gundam saber effects. I actually just drop it and just want to use this instead. So that is something to just kind of keep in mind as well. I mean, in terms of damage on this stage, it's not that bad, right? Like, I am taking this on like the very hard difficulty. Like, I still had no problem, right? It's still not bad. Like, I can still kind of take them out, not really taking any damage, I guess. If I can do this. So this should hit, well, yeah, it's not bad actually, yeah. Okay, that's gonna miss, and I can just immediately use it, just like that. So, do let me know. Is this like how do you guys how do you guys feel about this build like right out the bat? Is this good, or I'm pretty sure you guys do have better part than what I'm using here, but this is just a quick rough estimation of like what you can do right once you have like a cooldown reduction build. And do keep that in mind. This is not something you can do in like a day spam. So it's gonna require a lot of like material needed. Those part they come by slowly. As you guys roll those, like they give us a lot of like good tickets. So don't try to rush it through because it won't work, right? This definitely took me probably a good amount of time. So let me. Oops, I'm taking a lot of damage here. So let me do this actually. Okay, no, and that did fall below what 60% health, so that's why you're seeing some really slow charging right now. Oh, and there we go. Man, we can't even finish it. So, but this is generally what you can expect on a cooldown reduction build. And in terms of my accelerator there, I kind of messed up by using the pilot that is going to be on HP restriction. So that is something I do want to warn you guys. Do make sure to bring some healing if possible, so you can just kind of get out of the situation, no problem. But now let me actually move on to the big boy stuff and moving on to the League Arena and see how that actually works in today's map over here. Alright, hopping into the League Arena over here, so let's see how this actually works. In terms of damage wise, we're not doing anything. Oh my gosh, like what damage are we doing here? Like what? Like what are these? I can't see. Okay. Oh no, someone using EX skill. Oh no! There's no healing, so it's good, I guess. Oh my gosh, can I take him down? Please. Yeah, this is the struggle with free-to-play team over here. Like, oh my gosh, let me activate all these. We got to use these right here. Stop hitting me. Okay, I don't even know how this is gonna work. Okay, atomic bomb. This is not working out that good. Like, okay, we got one down right there. Next wave already? Are we? No. Oh my gosh, below, please, below. Okay, use this right here, bam. Oh gosh, someone used another EX right there, and that's gonna cost me some time. Is it not? No. Let's see how did we do. In terms of damage wise, I'm pretty sure we took a ton. Oh my gosh, how did we do? So in terms of timing wise, that was what 25,100. Damage taken, we take quite a bit. In terms of damage dealt, that is definitely not good. But in terms of League Arena, I would highly suggest you guys not even go for like a cooldown reduction build, because with just solely using the dual soul stroke arm EX skill, that should roughly get you guys through most of the phases already. Let's say you're gonna take 2 rounds per stage or per phase. you still have one more left. So maybe the first wave will take a little bit longer because you need to get your buffs going on from your allies, and then you're gonna take 2 from the other phases, and you still be fine. So I don't really see a point unless they're using like a cooldown reduction build on arena specifically. Even if you, let's say, use the rolling buster, the train buster rifle from the wing, like the wing endless wolf version, or the wing zero endless wolf version, or the wing Gundam Proto Zero, like those have the everyone's favorite, the rolling buster. Or you can go for the premium, like the build Project Axel. Like even with those, you wanna need cooldown reduction builds. So I feel like using a cooldown reduction build, especially for like a free-to-play player, definitely hurts them by a lot. Just because of that, you just won't be able to do enough damage. That is just the just how bad it is. But I'll actually come back around with a same setup, but we're gonna play around with a different type of style, and we'll see how that actually do, right? So I'll be right back. Alright, in terms of this setup, what I'm using is actually just buffing, right? So this usually be in my ally side, but what I have done is I activate all the buffs possible, and I can potentially... Hey, I have Rolling Buster in my other ally. Yep, I do have Rolling Buster, so keep that in mind. But we are definitely beating this by a lot more faster time because I did have buffs going on, so that's why you're gonna see some insane amount of damage going on. But we can just do this actually, so let me activate all these right here, and bam. Please, hurry up, hurry up. Activate all these so my ally can, or my enemy cannot heal up. So okay, good damage. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh, that was a lot more better than I expected. So let's see. Let's see what did we get up to. Yeah, and there you guys have it. So what I basically did right there is I used my ally. Like my ally is for buffs like those archer stand, combat stand, like etc. For example. So I activate those on like my own personal self first, so I can get those buffs rolling. So once I switch back to this cooldown reduction build, I'm able to just at ease use some EXQ without any, let's say, damage drops. So in terms of how we didn't do that hot either, but in terms of timing wise, we did went up a little bit. Damage taken, we took a little bit more minimum damage, but maximum score we can get potentially is going to be 33,000. So that is going to be the max score. In terms of damage dealt score over here, we went up by 5,000. So that is how powerful just having this up is over here, or no, just how powerful it is to just having buffs on like just arenas over here. So alright, so with that being said, that is going to be the video of how to do a cooldown reduction build on a shop based build over here. So hopefully this video is helpful to you all in terms of like what kind of part you guys want to be using in terms of like going for about your build over here. I just want to keep that keep you guys informed that this build specifically is only using standard part and just standard warfare parts. So I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys do have a lot of, let's say, some soul tier parts, but I'm definitely not going to be using them. Just trying to put this as free to play parts as possible over here. So I do hope this video is informative to you guys, and good luck in terms of how you guys are building your cooldown reduction build. I do know that this process is not going to be walking apart. It's not going to be something you can do in a day, and I do hope that eventually you guys can get to a good amount of like percentage. I will have to say roughly about 85 to 90 is probably a range you could say, yeah, that's a pretty good amount of like cooldown reduction like percentage rate that will probably get you to most of the EXQ that you need to be using. But if you want to be, let's say, using the actual drop, I will have to say you would need to be at a perfect at 100% in order to just kind of take advantage of that. If you have that, even if you are going to be, let's say, using rolling buster, that is going to still require you an enormous amount of time. But that is going to be pretty much it in this video. So with that being said, I will catch you guys all on the next one.